Hello and welcome to a very special mini-series with PortoBay Hotels, where I got the opportunity to visit the Madeira island, thanks to an invite from André Dória, the head of digital empowerment, following our meeting at the IHTF Europe, where we got to talk about how they're embedding AI in an early episode. In this podcast, though, we'll be exploring a little bit more about the PortoBay collection and how they've been approaching the development of their IT systems and how that helps all areas of their properties and the portfolio. First, I speak to André Dória about PortoBay and the magic of Madeira. I then get the opportunity to speak to Rui Alves, the head of IT, to look at an overview of the IT infrastructure and the roadmap ahead. In part 2, you'll get a chance to hear from Fiona Fontes, the marketing department, looking at the infrastructure and technology for the systems behind the digital guest experience and building a loyalty program, as well as Alex S. Nariaga, the resident manager at Villa Porto Mare, where we look at the systems underpinning service and quality and managing staff and delivering excellence. In our final part, we get a tour of the PortoBay Santa Maria with the general manager, Nicolas de Souza. We'll look at how the technology supports operations and how they deliver that experience. Don't forget, subscribe so you can catch each one of these episodes as they're published, or look back at previous episodes if you happen not to catch the first two.
Hotelier's Voice. Exploring opportunity and hospitality with Ryan Haynes. Hear from the people making a difference. From revenue to operations, marketing to digitalization. Learn the thinking behind their decisions.
André, great to see you again. Thank you ever so much for inviting me here.
We are very, very happy that you were able to come and meet our lovely island and also our beautiful hotels.
I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, and it was wonderful for you to extend that invite when we met at the International Hotel Technology Forum there in Faro. And we obviously had that conversation about AI, and then you extended the invite, and I went home and I saw these TV programs about the islands, and I thought, well, I have to come. But you're from here, aren't you, originally?
I am born and raised in Madeira Islands. I had a very short, brief stage where I went to the States just to finish my education. Then I came here, although I did work for some years in companies of Lisbon and Porto and traveling a lot outside the country as well, but mostly raised here and worked here. So I love this island.
Now, you work in the IT sector for PortoBay Hotel. Firstly, introduce us to PortoBay.
So PortoBay is a small chain of hotels, steadily building up. We now have 17 properties in Portugal and Brazil. So we were also born as a company here in Madeira Island. We started in 1988 with the first hotel, and then we started expanding. This hotel where we are right now, PortoBay Santa Maria, is on the 90s, built on the 90s, and so we just kept going on, expanded to Lisbon, then Porto. We also have a property in Algarve. And in Brazil, we have one in Rio, São Paulo, and Búzios. So very different properties, some resorts, some urban properties, also other more niche, like short stay weekend type of hotels. But we have a little bit of everything, 4 stars and 5 stars.
Now, listeners, I just have to give you a bit of a picture as to where I am. I am on the rooftop terrace overlooking the harbour. There's a massive cruise ship parked up right now. And I understand you get quite a few cruise ships throughout the year. I think we've seen about one a day come and go. So it's a few thousand people are coming into the city on a daily basis. Behind me is just such a number of mountain peaks that are covered by a lot of cloud cover. So it does seem very mystical up there. And there's loads of beautiful rooftops. And as you just look out over the city, it looks rather immense, isn't it? It's huge.
Yeah, it's basically built following the mountain incline. So we in Madeira, like you already witnessed, we come from the sea level to up more than 1,000 meters altitude. So the construction is built like it's creeping up the mountain, which also gives you a very distinct view. Usually, you have more plain parts of where to build. Not here in Madeira. So it gives us, I think, a distinctive feel. And you can always, every time you wake up in the morning, you can look up to the mountains. When it's more sunny, you can see, how's the weather up there? Is it good or not? In a 15-minute ride, you are in the mountains if you want to do something in the mountains, or levadas or something like that. So it's a very beautiful place to live in.
Yes, I mean, even you just sit down here on the rooftop terrace of an evening, you see all the lights of the houses. It is incredibly beautiful. And this hotel, the Santa Maria, as you say, is right on the front of the sea here. And that is just such a wonderful view. My hotel room was blessed by being at sunrise. So it had the sun peeking through early in the morning. And it's not too early here, actually. It's about 7:30, 7:45 that the sun rises.
It is. And that's something that's very characteristic of all our properties. Location. We are always located in the best place to be, in the places where we have hotels. So be it in the harbor entrance, so you can see the boats come in and the whole bay of Funchal in Madeira, or be it at the center of Lisbon, right at the center, right in the most important avenue of Lisbon. So that's something that we always take care of when acquiring or building a property, is that it's very well located.
Well, that's what I loved about arriving here, because we picked up a taxi, and it dropped us a road or two away from here. And so you have to make your own way through. Yeah. But we were then on the cobbled streets, and then we had to go through the old town. And that was like the welcome you kind of want from an old city, an old Portuguese city like this. So, an absolutely wonderful welcome. And then being able, just walking into the hotel itself, you got such welcoming staff as soon as we arrived. So we're going to be talking more about that later. But certainly on the experiences front here, firstly in Madeira, there's quite a lot to do. I've managed to pack quite a lot in just the 4 days that I've got here. One of the most exciting ones was sort of going up the cable car. And as you say, that engineering for all the building is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. You feel like almost you're going inside the mountain, then you come down. We do have a lot of activities, but there was always a very tourism welcoming place. Like, we always developed our tourism activities, so you can feel things that feel authentic and feel also distinctive. We have the Levadas walk, like I mentioned earlier, which is this trails, like in the mountains, and we have a beautiful sea that you can enjoy going on a catamaran or other boats. We have also activities that are developed inside the city, so you get to know the city. So quite a lot to do. You can really, and we are an island made of valleys, so you're kind of almost discovering different places every time you cross the tunnel, and you end up in a different valley where sort of different things are happening.
I mean, you were very welcoming on the first day I got here, so I can't thank you enough. Taking us out for a wonderful, authentic Madeira meal. Just describe for us what that is.
Yeah, so I basically took you to the fisherman's village in Madeira, which is Câmara de Lobos. It's fairly well known because Churchill has been there, has painted it. And it's well known because probably the two biggest things about Madeira, foods and drinks, are there. One is the poncha, which is a very original drink we have, made from a kind of rum we use, and honey and some piece of fruit. And the other one was to eat the espetada. Espetada is skewered meat, basically, that traditionally was made on bay leaf tree branches. So we use that to skewer the meat and use a fire to cook it. And I think you would enjoy just being welcome on the island, knowing two of the most authentic pieces that there are to experience food related to the islands.
Oh, absolutely. And we've had more poncha since, I assure you that. And we've had more espetada as well. We went out the other night to a local restaurant here that one of your colleagues down in reception advised us to go to, which was also really nice, to know that your staff are well accustomed with the best restaurants and food that you have here.
Yeah, I think that's something you'll find in PortoBay, is that we always strive for the staff to be exceptional with the guests, and we like to be known as it. And we kind of locally are known for it, for having a very good service, very good quality of service, together with very good food, which is another aspect of our product that we are really proud of. And we nurture it. In Madeira, I think I mentioned that the other time we were in IHTF in Faro, which is we have people working for PortoBay for 20 years, more than 10 years. A lot of people. I'm nearing my 8th, 9th year in the PortoBay, so we nurture people. We like to keep good people. We like to train them. We like to keep improving them, because that's what improves the organization. And we always put people first.
I mean, this was, one of the points that I wanted to come here and learn a bit more about PortoBay. I've got a number of your colleagues I'm going to be talking to throughout this series and learning a lot more about the hotel. So you've been here yourself 8-9 years. How did your career start here, and how has it progressed over that time?
So, like I said, I was born and raised here, and I did part of my studies here. Once I finished my education, I had to go experience, the labor market, and I actually worked for a consultancy company for some years and traveled a lot, mainly on the energy and utilities sector related to technology. But I wanted desperately to be in my island, and one of the biggest opportunities I had to be here was tourism. Hotels in specific, because they really allow you to develop your career. I think that in Portugal, tourism is probably the market that allows you to have a career and actually progress on that career in a fairly natural way, something that you don't see a lot on other sectors of the society where it's very hard to develop a career. Tourism allows that, and it allows something that I even find more magical, which is the upskilling and when you and cross-skilling. It allows you to, even on technology, just imagine the boom we're having with artificial intelligence and business intelligence and data, whatever. It allows you, and particularly PortoBay allows you to keep training, keep learning, know more, do more, be able to do more, and you never feel like a stagnant, really, staff. And so for me, that was key, because I'm able to live on a beautiful island that I take 10 minutes by car to go everywhere, and still work for a hotel chain where I feel I have an impact, and I can have an impact, and an impact outside of the island. So it's been really, really good to develop my career here, and I think that's an example for a lot of people. Tourism in Madeira is the biggest place to develop your career.
Technology has obviously changed a lot over the time that you've been here, no doubt. We had the pandemic, and that made people rethink a lot more. And I know that as Madeira itself, you guys came out of the of COVID restrictions a lot earlier than a lot of others. So you could bring back tourism, but you obviously had to adapt or address some of the restrictions needed for international travellers. So if we look at those last 8 years of 9 years you've been here, what have been some of the key technological developments that you've been involved with?
So one of them was data and business intelligence. We had a very sustainable operation, but the data was dispersed and you didn't have a lot of data-driven decisions. We had a brilliant CEO. We just had a CEO change, and we had a brilliant CEO that had a lot of intuition, experience in tourism, was able to make that decisions. And we needed to prepare the organization to be data-driven and to better support, the growing of the organization itself. So that was one of the things we saw evolve, the way we aggregate data, the way we take information out of data, which is probably the most important part. Not only dashboards and reports, automation, and now the artificial intelligence, which is the biggest boom and will allow us, I think, to do even more. And maybe, I know we're not talking technology only here, but I wanted to make this point, which is very important for PortoBay. And I think it's the right perspective for artificial intelligence. I told you, people are first for PortoBay. Be it the guests, be it the staff. What we want is that technology allows people to be free to interact with each other. So that's where we want to push, that's where we want to drive. Increase productivity and leave people available to interact with each other, provide a better service to our guests. And that's mostly where we're taking artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, this is why I'm very excited today to have conversations with your other colleagues. So coming up in this mini-series, we've got Rui Alves, the head of IT, Fiona Fontes from marketing, Alex Asnariaga, the resident manager for Villa Porto Mare, and also Nicholas de Souza, the general manager here at PortoBay Santa Maria, and getting a proper tour of the property as well to understand where technology plays a role. And so far, so good. I've not seen any technology. So
That's how we want it. Invisible, transparent. That's how we want technology.
thanks ever so much again. I can't appreciate enough your hospitality that you've given me over the last 4 days and the rest of your team.
Thank you for coming here and experiencing our hotel and our beautiful island, and also keeping this conversation, which I think is very important, about the role of technology in hospitality everywhere. So I look forward to talk to you again, and best of luck for the future.
My name is Rui Alves, and I'm the head of IT for PortoBay since November 2014.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you very much. And Rui, obviously, we met, well, we didn't meet, we briefly met
Exactly.
at IHTF over there in Faro. You've seen me do my thing a couple of times. What those events that you attend, the tech events, why are they so important to you as an IT professional in hospitality?
So the different solutions that we are, how do I say, not forced by the the industry, but there's a wide range of solutions being prepared in every single aspect that you want to cover, from cybersecurity to whatever. So to be aware of what's available in the market, what peers are doing in the same scope of challenges that you are facing, it's really important because there's a sort of community. Okay, so we can understand and share the same kind of problems, and it's really useful to understand how others are addressing the same issues that you are facing.
Yeah, I mean, things change so fast, particularly for you in technology at the moment. AI, how do you get on top of that? Data, how do you make sure that that's functioning? But then also, looking at how that affects the staff, what implications it means for the guest experience, and all these sort of things I want to be exploring with you in our little short conversation here. But firstly, you're working here at PortoBay. What's the magic of working here for you?
Initially, when I joined the company, I was not aware that the scope of challenges that we need to face in this industry is so wide. Okay, so from controlling the entrance of the parking lot to the application of artificial intelligence, we cover all that spectrum. Exactly, and as I mentioned previously, living on this island and being such a small ecosystem, the company can't afford to have specialists for every single area. So it's kind of, you need to know how to play several instruments. And to play that role, it's really, really challenging to, to address those challenges, to be in a position that you can deliver the answers that the company needs. How it's challenging or interesting for me to be here. This industry, the presence of technology in hospitality, if you compare it to other industries, we are kind of lagging behind. There are retail, for instance, you have a wide range of flexibility and solutions available that in some cases are not yet present in hospitality. And to be part of this kind of evolution, to contribute for the company and to provide a better experience for guests, it's of course a great challenge. It still sparks my flame.
Well, like you said, it covers all areas, and there's probably not a moment for you to be able to switch off necessarily. And it's a 24/7, 365 day a year industry, isn't it? You're constantly open, you're constantly working, you've got staff you need to support. How do you perceive the role of technology here at PortoBay? What's important for you in key principles when addressing your technology?
It has to be kind of invisible, either from supporting decision making to providing a seamless experience to the guest. It's really role of enabler, facilitator to ease something. We are not riding the top of the wave, okay? But we are using technology to secure our operations. It's really important to provide better experience and to move towards data-driven decisions, okay? And it's more and more, as we grow, it's really more and more relevant, the role of technology to support these different aspects.
Now, from a guest perspective, I have experience now of being one of those. There really isn't much technology I've faced. I think I've come across the television. That's about it. That was very easy. Actually, I was very surprised about that because it was my friend who said, "Oh, this is the Wi-Fi password." How do you know that? It was on the TV. I was like, "Oh my God, there it is." Okay. So very simple. I mean, there are obviously other hotels where you're touch screening and your QR coding and it's just everywhere. Is this a conscious decision currently to sort of try to keep it at bay and just allow it to be almost like digital free? Or is it something where you feel, like you said, hospitality is lagging behind and you need to play catch up, that it is something you're looking at?
The thing is not to push technology just by pushing technology. It's to use it as a tool to ease any kind of friction that we can face, or to make us move faster, or to just provide a better experience. But it's not mandatory to just push technology by technology. That's not our take.
I mean, like I say, I arrived at the hotel, my keys were ready. Everything was ready for me to go straight to my room. I just had a late checkout. I arrived. They instantly knew who I was as I got to the desk. "Ah, Mr. Haynes, here's your bill." I'm like, "Oh, wow." Pay, done. Very easy and seamless. And so now let's look at your core systems, if you may, here at PortoBay. I've spoken to numerous portfolios, particularly those that might be spread across different locations, countries, cities, etc. Obviously, like yourselves, you've got both Portugal, the islands, and Brazil. Do you use the same property management system across all your properties?
Yes, we do. We use Host. It is a Portuguese PMS solution. And it was a decision made to equalize all the properties. We have, if we count with the infrastructure, we have, I would say that our ecosystem has around 100 different systems. Okay, so we are facing this from platform perspective rather than a single solution that will do everything. And for instance, the PMS role is becoming smaller and smaller as other peripheral tools appear and gain control of several aspects of the operation. Channel managers, revenue management systems. Right now, the PMS is responsible for knowing the inventory and performing check-ins and check-outs, basically. All the other responsibilities, we have a CRM responsible for interacting with guests and knowing all that stuff and messaging and going towards omnichannel and all that stuff. We have channel manager to interact. We have revenue management systems. We have a bunch of different systems that will take care of different aspects of our needs.
So what have been the latest investments or developments you've been making in your IT?
The investments are growing because technology is everywhere. Cybersecurity is something that we are looking in a very, how do I say, cautious way. But we have it's not a single line of our roadmap. Roadmap is not a single line. We have different vectors of where we are acting on, and we have I would say that this is so challenging that we are just created. But I hope would be the cornerstone for this, which is a digital form. The challenges are so big that the expectation that the IT will do everything is not reliable anymore. So we should be there to help from the technical side, but all different aspects of the business should be involved in this. And there's no one in IT knowing so much of finance as the guys working there. There's no one in IT knowing so much of human resources as the one working there. So we need to be humble and to work. It's more and more, we are moving from a command and control kind of management to a more collaborative way of management.
I was going to say, I mean, this is a wonderful thing. I'll get to speak to your colleague Fiona Fontes about the marketing side and the systems that they're using, which obviously they're very much involved in making that decision. But I guess rather than IT, traditionally back 20 years ago, being the one saying, no, this is a system that you need, you're now more about looking, well, how does this fit within the wider ecosystem? How do you make sure that that system is talking to the other system, or data's available, or within your cybersecurity?
Exactly. This digital forum initiative, it's really to address it's to reduce the silos that we have, data silos, the silos related to the departments, different departments. Nowadays, what we need to execute one project, you name it, whatever, from guest-facing technology to the enterprise resource planning, whatever. You need people from different departments contributing for that to be successful. And at the time when I was at the university as a researcher, I came across an ACM article where they mentioned something that was really important for me. They talked about something called cross-pollination. You have, as a bee does in several flowers, the different perspectives that people bring into one same problem, and how it enriches the final solution. It's really important. Okay, this cross-pollination, this collaboration, it's really something that we believe that it's really powerful, and we are struggling to find a proper way for this to be incorporated into daily basis and to enhance collaboration in people.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand. I was just at a conference recently and they decided to give us a conference app, and it caused the most friction you could possibly imagine compared to having no app. And I guess in the same way, you've got to think about, okay, how does this enable all staff? Do staff all feel comfortable with it? Does the customer feel comfortable with it? Does it add value, or is it taking the value away? And exactly. I guess that's what feeds into future-proofing and evolving technology today within a business.
Exactly. The challenges are so wide and in some cases complex that it generates non-transparent filter for the board, for instance. This is so complex. If you can't communicate in an accurate way, it generates a line where there's no visibility. And the investments needed are so big that at some point in time, it looks like that the IT is in charge, but it can't be. So there's a really big challenge of communicating properly and to transcribe the challenges that we have, the problems that we have, into actionable actions and solutions, which can be, helped with technology.
Here's a question for you. Okay, this is from a conversation I had the other day with another hotelier. Because it's something that always crops up, and business leaders often ask this question. But how does, in technology, in business today identify the return of investment? What are the key aspects of that solution that determines value or that a return where you can say, yes, that was worth it?
We would like to have a one-to-one correlation. This is more like an aircraft crash. It doesn't happen because of one single factor, okay? So you need to rather aggregate all the properties you need for it to flourish, okay? Revenue management, the investment we did in revenue management is solely by the action of the revenue management that the ADR increased 5, 10, 15%. It's not. It's a set of contributions, commercial policy, how do you handle the relation with tour operators and how you release inventory from the tour operators and reintroduce it into the commercial chain. There's a lot of things to work on it. So I don't believe that we will get to a point where we can track a one-to-one direct correlation, but it's rather a set of contributions that will make it flourish.
Thank you ever so much indeed. I appreciate all that time you've given me just now and for diving in and exploring those questions and give me as much of an insight as we possibly can do in this time into PortoBay IT.
I just have to thank you and to ask for some excuse for my Madeiran accent. It's how it is.
Thanks for listening. You can check out part 2 with Fiona Fontes from marketing and Alex Esnariaga, the resident manager at Villa Portomare. Just keep subscribed. It's coming soon.